Right now at 6, authorities in Pittsburgh make a second arrest in connection with a November homicide.
And we've got ourselves a bit of a chilly start for some. Temperatures gradually warming. It will be much warmer today. Still windy though. Look at that forecast. Get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, some Missouri business groups file a challenge to the Show Me State's intention to raise the minimum wage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, December the 12th. We are now 13 days away from Christmas and 2 weeks from January 1st, which will be the first, of course, day of 2025.
Exciting stuff.
2 weeks? I meant 3. If I said 2 weeks. It's 3 weeks.
2 weeks, under 2 weeks till Christmas, under
3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks from today it'll be, Either way, a lot going on. Yes. That's why it's hard to keep track of. That's the thing about the holidays is it keeps you busy.
So fast.
Because in the wintertime, typically it gets a little dreary, it gets a little cold. You got to have something to keep you focused, keep you going, and that's why everything's all grouped together at the end of the year. There, all of a sudden there's 800 things going on that you got to keep track of. So hopefully you're keeping track, and hopefully remember you may not quite be out of school or work just yet. You need to still go out and take care of business, and as you do so, it is going to be warmer today, but we do have a chilly start. Quick look outside our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear again for the time being, but clouds begin to increase this afternoon. And we have a broad mix of temperatures, and the reason that we have such a broad mix of temperatures is because that warm front is pushed through and is beginning to bring in some slightly warmer air. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also looking pretty good. Onto the future track we go. So by noon, southwest winds gusting 30 miles an hour. So it's going to be pretty breezy. And then clouds gradually increasing from south to north as we go through the afternoon. So we'll start to go partly cloudy, and then we'll start to go mostly cloudy. Now the clouds are increasing at just the right time because in the winter, the fall and winter seasons, we hit our peak heating, our daytime highs, much earlier in the afternoon than what we do in the summertime, where we hit them, later in the evening. So because of that, it should slow down our temperature drop tonight. It'll still be chilly, but shouldn't get as cold as it has been. It is 40 in Joplin, and yes, it really is 34 in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's come up a few degrees. Up to the north, here's that boundary. The low pressure itself is off in central Kansas. Warm front on the northern edge. So in the northern parts of our area, it's pretty consistent. It's cold still, into the 20s. But as you head south, we're getting that mixing taking place. We're starting to see temperatures rise. We're getting into the 30s to about 40 degrees. But then you factor in the wind, still feels cold. And of course, where it's colder up north feels even colder. 19 Yates Center, 18. Iola, Stockton, 16 in Fort Scott. And then we get again a mixed bag of wind chills outside of that because we're starting to warm up. Kids getting on the bus this morning. It's not bad. It's still cold, but it's not bad. It's not 27. It's 37. South breeze 10 to 20. Clear skies. And when that bus brings them back home, look at that. 57 degrees. A few clouds and that gusty southwest wind. And that's where our highs are headed today. Into the upper 50s. Maybe even some low 60s in our southern counties. And again, as we head into the afternoon, clouds will gradually begin to increase. As we head into Friday, rain chances will gradually begin to increase. We'll go over those details with you and take a look at the weekend forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Pittsburgh police make another arrest in connection with a November murder case. Yesterday's arrest stems from the November 27th murder of 29-year-old Fedora Lee Warren Lomax at a home on South Elm Street in Pittsburgh. Now, officers found Lomax suffering from gunshot wounds inside one of the apartments. He later died at the hospital. Now, shortly after the shooting, officers tracked a suspect to a home on the 300 block of East Park Street. They found 26-year-old Kevin Huckhill hiding in the attic. Now, police arrested Huckhill on an outstanding Crawford County felony warrant for failing to appear on a previous drug charge. He's now facing second-degree murder charges, felony interference with law enforcement, and felon in possession of a firearm. And yesterday, police arrested 28-year-old Shannon Marie Roberts, also on the 300 block of East Park Street, for various charges. They include felony interference with law enforcement, obstructing an apprehension, and concealing or tampering with evidence. Authorities are investigating a shooting in Webb City. Investigators say around 5:30 yesterday morning, 2 people with gunshot wounds drove themselves to the Airport Drive neighborhood market. Now, one male victim was grazed by gunfire and a female victim suffered a life-threatening gunshot wound. She's listed in critical condition. The 2 were wounded at a home on the 1300 block of West Austin. Authorities came to the home at around 5:45 and remained there for nearly 3 hours before 4 people came out, and all 4 were detained. Both victims have been transported to an area hospital. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Missouri business groups have now filed a legal challenge to the newly passed Proposition A concerning minimum wage. Now, several groups have joined together and are speaking out against Prop A for financial and legal reasons. In a joint statement, they state the measure will, quote, increase prices for consumers and impose significant financial burdens on businesses. Now, these groups have submitted a legal challenge to the Missouri Supreme Court, hoping to get the proposition invalidated. Now, the challenge claims the proposition has misleading language that creates prejudice for that amendment. And that's why they believe the proposition is invalid. The community turned out in Carthage last night to support a fundraiser for a victim of a hit and run. Now, Braxton Thrasher was struck on his moped back on November 30th and suffered traumatic injuries. Since then, the Carthage teen has dealt with a number of surgeries and has moved from Springfield to St. Louis for more extensive care. Now, last night, his employers at Domino's Pizza in Carthage hosted a fundraiser for Braxton and his single mother to help offset some of the medical expenses. Now, Domino's says the turnout was so great, their projected orders actually doubled, and they even stopped taking orders or they would have ran out of food. So if you missed out on last night's Domino's, they say it will continue to honor with the fundraiser coupons throughout the weekend. Well, some big news for a local industry. Schreiber Foods in Carthage, Missouri announces plans for a major expansion. That expansion includes construction of a new 168,000 square foot production facility featuring state-of-the-art technology. The $211 million investment is expected to create 150 new jobs. The project is scheduled to begin next month with completion scheduled for 2027. Schreiber Foods has been part of the Carthage community since 1950 and currently employs more than 1,300. A Carthage philanthropic group announces they are gearing up for its fall grant season. Carthage 365, a giving circle created by the Carthage Community Foundation, will begin taking applications for its fall grant round on Thursday, January 2nd. Now, applicants can come from civic, education, or faith-based groups serving the Carthage area, and all applicants must be completed and submitted online on January 17th. Grant announcements will be made mid-February. Well, Pittsburgh high school students will soon need to put away their cell phones, AirPods, and cordless headphones during class. The rule takes effect January 1st. The school is taking action to reduce distractions and improve focus in the classroom. The assistant principal says he consulted with faculty and staff to develop new rules aimed at serving students better and creating a more productive learning environment.
The main thing that I take from it is the qualitative data that our own staff has told us and shown us that they see in our spaces that they are a distraction. And some of our teachers that have had more of a strict cell phone policy have noticed major differences in our engagement pieces in the classroom.
Now, Crowd says students can use their phones during break time, passing period, and on the bus along as they follow school policies. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, thousands of users were unable to access Facebook and Instagram apps after a widespread outage. Plus, the nation's FBI director is vowing to leave his post when the Biden administration ends. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, Amazon drivers are working overtime this holiday season, and now you can thank them with a free tip with Amazon's Thank My Driver feature. And here's how it works. If you own an Amazon Alexa-enabled device, you just say, "Alexa, thank my driver," and Amazon will gift the driver who delivered your order $5 at no charge to you. You can also use the Alexa app or an Amazon account. And the promotion started on December 4th and applies for the first 2 thank yous in the United States only. Amazon first debuted the Thank My Driver feature in 2022. And Meta says a technical issue caused a widespread outage Wednesday on apps like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Many users reported issues with Meta's apps. On outage tracking site Down Detector, Instagram had logged almost 70,000 reports by mid-afternoon Wednesday, while Facebook had up to 105,000 outage reports. The impact on Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp was far less, under 15,000. The nation's top cop, FBI Director Christopher Wray, is vowing to leave his post when the Biden administration ends, years before the end of his term. Now, it comes weeks after President-elect Donald Trump had already announced a replacement, his loyal ally Kash Patel. And Patel met with senators in Washington yesterday. Now, Jared Hill has more from New York, where Trump is expected to ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange this morning.
In a stunning announcement, FBI Director Christopher Wray says he'll step down next month before President-elect Donald Trump takes office, still with about 2 years left on his term.
This is not easy for me. I love this place, but my focus is and always has been on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
Trump called his resignation, quote, "a great day for America." The former president nominated Wray to the post in 2017. He later soured on his pick after FBI-led probes into his ties to Russia, efforts to overturn the 2020 election, and the alleged mishandling of classified materials that included the search of Trump's home in Florida.
He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done.
Trump's new choice for FBI Director Kash Patel has been on Capitol Hill all week, meeting with GOP lawmakers.
We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Senate Democrats have voiced concerns over Patel's nomination.
The threat here is that justice and our law enforcement agencies are going to be weaponized for personal and political ends.
Concerns some Republicans say they've discussed with Patel directly.
I urged Patel to take a serious look at the FBI's priorities.
Overnight, Trump arrived in New York to ring the opening bell at the stock exchange this morning. As CBS News has learned, Trump's team has invited Chinese President Xi Jinping to his inauguration, and they're planning to invite more foreign leaders. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, there's no indication on whether China's president or any other foreign leaders will accept the invitations. Meanwhile, President-elect Trump named Kari Lake as his pick to be the next director of the Voice of America, the federally funded international broadcaster. Now, Lake, a former TV news anchor, was unsuccessful in her recent campaigns for Arizona governor and U.S. senator. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, we have clear skies across the area for now, but clouds will begin to increase later today. Got another look at your forecast when we come back.
Several Mississippi State University veterinarian students received some hands-on training for their future careers Tuesday. They were in Gulfport, where nearly 24 sea turtles are being rehabilitated after being exposed to cold temperatures on the Atlantic coast. Parker Boyd spoke with the students, who say they're honored to assist in the process.
A group of Mississippi State University veterinarian students are in Gulfport on a mission to save the sea turtle habitat. Helping the Institute for Marine Mammal Studies nurse 23 Kemp's Ridley sea turtles back to health.
Very unique opportunity to deal with one of the most endangered sea turtles.
The turtles got cold stunned after they were trapped in the cold winter waters in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the freeze causing their body temperatures to drop. That's why Mississippi State veterinarian Alexandria Emilianchek is helping students evaluate the turtles.
We are doing our initial intake examinations on them. We're getting an overall image of what is going on with these turtles and how we can tailor their treatment moving forward that will best suit them.
Students get to do blood work as well as listen to their heart rates.
They get to see the physical exam, what treatments go into caring for these animals.
IMMS stranding coordinator Teresa Madrigal says cold-stunned sea turtles also suffer from pneumonia and frostbite.
They'll also be getting fluids, different antibiotics and things, and coming up with different treatment plans for each animal.
Veterinarians find that cold waters can damage the turtle's skin.
We're taking a look to see what's going on. If the turtles are in very cold water, sometimes they'll have skin erosions here, sometimes we'll have wearing of the bone, so we're just noting all of these details.
The IMMS says it'll release the turtles into the Mississippi Sound once they've been rehabilitated. Emilianchek says this experience will give the students the resources they need to have successful careers, as well as make them excited about helping our planet and helping the environment and habitat these turtles live in.
According to NOAA Fisheries, cold stunning generally occurs when water temperatures fall below 50 degrees. And the agency also says hundreds of sea turtles can be affected by such events. Now let's check in with Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
We have a chilly start out there. A broad mix of temperatures as a warm front's pushing through. We'll take a look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:23 now on this Thursday morning, and certainly I woke up this morning, I'm sure maybe some of you are too, thinking it was Friday. We're almost there, not quite, but we are almost there, and it is going to be very warm between now and tomorrow and even into the weekend. By this afternoon, southwest winds gusting upwards of 30, clouds gradually increasing. Now again, in the summertime, we hit our peak heating about 5 o'clock in the evening. During the fall and winter months, we hit peak heating around 3, 4 o'clock. So we're going to reach some of our warmer temperatures as the clouds are rolling in. And the reason that's a good thing is it helps trap in some of that warmer air. Now up north, you can see that warm front doesn't necessarily lift all the way through the area today. So up north of it, along the 54 corridor, could still fall back into the 30s. I think most of us, though, should be starting tomorrow in the low 40s. Now, through the day tomorrow, we'll have opportunities for isolated to widely scattered showers and maybe a rumble of thunder. It won't be until overnight Friday into Saturday that we'll actually get some slightly more organized shower and thunderstorm activity out there. Nothing severe, which is good, but we are going to have some showers, some thunderstorms, some meaningful rainfall come across the area as we go overnight tomorrow night into the first half of our Saturday. By 9, we should be winding down by noon. We're going to be left with mostly cloudy skies, and those clouds will eventually begin to clear on out of here and leaving us clear into Saturday and at least the beginning of our Sunday. Temperatures right now, cold. It is 40 in Joplin. Feels like 31. South breeze at 17. Now, here's that warm front. There's that low pressure over central Kansas. Cold front's back behind that. And then ahead of it, where that boundary is, it's still a little colder. So again, the 54 corridor especially, still into the 20s. You get further south, we're starting to see temperatures gradually warm into the upper 30s. But then we got the winds to contend with, so we've got feels like 18 in Yates Center, 17 in Iola, Fort Scott, and Stockton. And so because, again, we have a mix of temperatures at the surface, we have a mix of wind chills out there. But again, the further south you go, it still feels cold, but not as cold as it does where you're riding that boundary right now. As we go through the morning, we are going to have clear skies, 39 to start, 51 by 11 a.m. And as we head into the afternoon, upper 50s today for most of us. Some of our southern counties could even make the low 60s. So we're talking very warm, very above normal temperatures. Southwest breeze gusting to 30. We'll have a southeast wind tonight, 5 to 10. Again, clouds continuing to increase. And see, it begins to slow down that temperature drop, and we'll eventually make the low 40s. But again, those of you, really the 54 corridor and say, give or take a few miles north of and south of that, that's where that boundary is just going to kind of sit. So you may fall back into the upper 30s tonight, be a little colder than your neighbors because that boundary is not fully lifting through the area. Tomorrow, breezy again, south winds gusting to 30, mid mid 50s, upper 50s by Saturday, low to mid 60s on Sunday. Then we'll have another round of evening showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms from Sunday night into Monday, 60. And the cold front we talked about yesterday for next week was showing up Wednesday. Looks like it may get here a little earlier than that, heading in on our Tuesday. And then that'll drop our temperatures as we head into the second half of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the health risks from smoking are widely known, but a new study from the American College of Cardiology finds smoking tobacco in the teenage years and early 20s can cause lasting damage to heart muscle and function. Now, the study found a link to dangerously enlarged hearts after just a few years of smoking. Now, the researchers say it's a reminder about the importance of smoking and vaping prevention programs. Well, the World Health Organization says global malaria cases rose in 2023 with 11 million more cases than the previous year. The mosquito-borne disease was blamed for nearly 600,000 deaths. Officials say the problem remains widespread in Africa, especially for children. There's a need for more funding for insecticide-treated nets, medicines, and other life-saving tools. And a California child is now believed to have contracted bird flu after drinking raw milk. Marin County public health officials say the child ingested contaminated milk and later experiences symptoms like fever and vomiting. Now, they suspect due to bird flu. The child has recovered and no other family members became sick. Health officials say the risk to the public remains low, but discourages any raw milk consumption. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, we'll hear from an HVAC technician who helps keep people warm when the temperatures cool off.
And it's a bit of a chilly start for some of us out there. Warmer temperatures on the way, and it's going to get breezy again. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a Christmas classic from the 80s serves as trivia night inspiration for the Parsons Public Library.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, December the 12th. 13 days until Christmas.
13.
And then 3 weeks, it will be 2025.
How about that? I mean, we've been saying it all week, it feels like, but I just can't believe it.
Yeah, it's a little mind-boggling how fast the end of the year. It always happens, though.
It always does.
The end of the year just is suddenly done. Next thing you know, we're into spring, which is about 98 days away at this point.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, that's not that. Seems like a long time. That's just over 3 months away until springtime gets here. Okay, so I can't complain about that too much. And it's going to feel a lot like springtime today with warmer air rolling in. Quick look outside. Our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. The sun's beginning to rise, and you can see for right now at least we have those clear skies, but clouds begin to increase as we head into the afternoon hours. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking pretty good as well this morning. So we'll take a look at the future track into this afternoon. Now here we go. We've got a southwest breeze. It's going to be gusting upwards of 30. It is bringing in warmer air for us, and it will be bringing in cloud cover. Now, I want to point out some features. You see where the wind arrows start to shift just right outside of our immediate area here? Well, that's the warm front, and it actually retreats a little further south as we head into the afternoon. So here's the one thing that's going to happen. Because of that, it is almost going to park itself for a while, almost right on top of Highway 54. So if you're in those communities along and just immediately south of Highway 54, you're going to be a little cooler than the rest of us. But the clouds increasing right as we reach our fall and wintertime peak heating, and that will cause temperatures to slow in their drop tonight. Now, again, it will still be cold where that warm front kind of settles out there. In fact, by 8, you can see it's come a little further south, but most of us should drop to low 40s tonight. Speaking of, we are at 40 in Joplin, 34 in Pittsburgh. So here's the warm front. That over there's the low pressure, cold front attached to it. Here's where the warm front is. And so right along it, it's still a little chilly. We've got mid-30s out there, low to mid-30s, but north of the warm front, still much colder into the 20s. And then you get south of it, and look at these temperatures, upper 30s, near 40 degrees. Then you factor in the wind, and of course it's Going to feel a lot colder north of that boundary. 18 Yates Center, 17 is what it feels like, Iola, Fort Scott, and Stockton. And the rest of us, again, once you get south, it feels a little warmer, but it's still cold into the 30s with those wind chills. So kids get on the bus, probably going to want a jacket. Most of us upper 30s, clear skies, south winds 10 to 20, so that's where the wind chill is going to come from. Then those southwest winds gusting 30, maybe 35, few clouds, but look at that when the bus brings them home. 57 degrees. That's where our highs are headed today. Upper 50s, southern counties could even make the low 60s out there. So we're talking warm air and clouds again increasing as we head into the afternoon and evening. We have rain chances increasing as we head into tomorrow and tomorrow night. We'll take a look at that, plus your weekend forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, cold weather can cause a number of problems when people are trying to keep warm. Now, authorities this week had to respond to a chimney fire in the Kelsey Norman neighborhood of Joplin. Responders alerted one resident before helping them to safety. Now, it took about 90 minutes to extinguish the fire. There were no injuries. Now, if you intend to use a fireplace, head over to KOAMNewsNow.com for a complete interview with Joplin Fire Training Chief Dustin Luno on the importance of making sure your chimney is properly inspected and cleaned by a professional. Well, eventually the colder temps will be here to stay, making this a good time to have your heating system checked. Local technicians recommend you take action before temperatures dip too cold. They say it's also a good time to replace your system's filter. A standard one-time maintenance call can cost between $100 to $200, but could save you thousands in repair costs.
People ask me a lot if they should close off vents to unused rooms, and that is not true. You should not do that. When you close the louvers to rooms that you're not using, it tries to force the rest of that air through the open ones, but that's a restriction. The same way a dirty air filter is a restriction, closed vents is a restriction.
Now, Osborne encourages homeowners to regularly replace the filters in their heating systems, and if they have any issues, to contact a local HVAC technician as soon as possible. A classic holiday tale finds inspired new life in Southwest Missouri. The McDonald County Drama Department and Dabbs Greer Theater Society brings Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol to the stage. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks takes us inside the production for a closer look at what makes this one different and unique to the region.
We smelled it outside the baker's. Oh my, we did, didn't we? We knew it was ours.
Because it is so important to find redemption in our life. And this story just exudes that. You know, people can do wrong in their life, but if they change, it changes their life and changes everybody around them. That's why it's really important. Most celebrated alumni is Dabbs Greer. Dabbs Greer's iconic character is Reverend Alden from Little House on the Prairie. Reverend Alden was a real person, so we are doing a trilogy of plays about this character, Reverend Alden. We started in October, and it was Heartache in Waseca. This is actually Christmas in Waseca with Reverend Alden's telling of A Christmas Carol.
He has walked slower these last few evenings. I have known him to walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulders, very fast indeed. And so have I, often.
Going back and finding that emotion that's in your life. All of us have things that have really made us tear up, made us feel things inside. So you use that method, you use that emotion as you are doing that scene. So you're recalling that emotion as you do the scene.
What is today, my fine fella? Today? Why, it's Christmas Day!
I played it last year, and I wasn't as good. I was only a sophomore last year, and it was my first big role. And honestly, I don't exactly know how I can try to play this angry, mean character that everyone hates. I've kind of seen it before, and I just kind of go off of that. I just try to take account of every action that I make and just see how it affects others, because after playing this play, I can see how any action can affect other people negatively or positively. So I always try to make sure that I don't ruin anyone else's life, day, you know.
Tell me that this is not my end. Tell me, please.
Well, for many people, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation remains the holiday go-to even after multiple viewings. But how much do they know about the classic Christmas comedy? The Parsons Public Library put that to the test last night with a Christmas Vacation trivia night. Now visitors could test their Christmas Vacation knowledge and enjoy some ice cream.
You know, it's an older movie, so a lot of people have probably seen it, and we thought, why not?
I gotta be honest, it was because my mom, she loves it, and I love watching it with her as well, so.
That event took place at the Cherry on Top Ice Cream Parlor. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Inflation heated up last month as consumer prices rose 2.7% in the latest 12-month period. And we have a warmer and breezy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, inflation ticked up 2.7% last month, according to the latest federal report, meeting economists' predictions. The increase was driven by rising housing and grocery costs, and it comes as Americans are expected to spend a record of up to $989 billion this holiday season. And to mark today's special date of 12/12, Krispy Kreme is offering a Day of the Dozens deal. Customers who purchase a dozen donuts can get a second dozen of original glazed donuts for free at participating locations. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a decent start to the day. Now, here's the thing. The warm front not completely through the area at this point, so it does still feel colder up in our northern counties. Quick look outside, though. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh looks great. The sun is rising. Skies for the time being are clear. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Again, it's looking back to the west, so it sees no sunrise, but it will see a sunset later today. But still looking good so far. Future track by this afternoon, southwest winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Clouds gradually increasing through the day, and you see that wind shift line? That's that warm front. It's going to spend most of the day parked almost right on top of the Highway 54 corridor, which is why if you're along that corridor and say a few miles to the south of that, you're going to be a little cooler than the rest of us today and tonight. And that warm front even retreats a little further south late this evening as well, so that's going to keep it colder to the north overnight. We're sitting at 40 in Joplin, 34 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, there's the warm front, there's the low pressure, cold fronts back over that way in central Kansas. So here's that boundary. So along and north of it, colder in the 20s, but you start getting south of that boundary, we're warmer, mid-upper 30s. And you factor in the winds. Feels like 16 Iola and Fort Scott, 17 in Stockton, 18 in Yates Center. Feels colder, of course, where the temperatures are colder. And it still feels cold down south. Upper 20s, low 30s, but not quite as cold as it is on the northern portion of our area. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 37, clear skies, south breeze 10 to 20, southwest winds this afternoon gusting upwards of 30, few clouds out there, and 57 when the kids come home. We'll have more on your forecast here in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony Nicopol. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Dua Lipa, Grammy winner. Yes, she is. She's going to tell us all about her new CBS special. Also, an actress by the name of Linda Cardellini will join us to talk about not one but two new projects that she is starring in. That is coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, it is time for some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states, and we are going to begin in Chanute with Lucas Jessup, celebrating birthday number 9, with happy birthday glove coming from Mom, Dad, Mama, Starlet, and Nate.
And in Farlington, a happy 12th birthday to Milan Shabak.
And we've got Amelia Savart in St. Paul, celebrating birthday number 3, says your family loves and is proud of you.
And a happy 62nd birthday to Tamara Breedlove.
And we've got Michael Tuba in Jasper, celebrating birthday number 66 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 72nd birthday to Steve Sisney in Fort Scott. A great throwback photo there.
Oh, absolutely. It's either that or again, Steve made yes. We've also got Wayne Burrows celebrating birthday number 85 in Columbus. It says happy birthday from Carolyn and all of the family.
And a happy 90th birthday to Clara Wheeland in St. Paul.
And we've got a 12th anniversary for Mark and Crystal Johnson in La Russell. Happy anniversary.
And a happy 75th anniversary to Kenneth and Donald Tinsley.
And we've also got J.C. Westervelt in Columbus celebrating another year wiser today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 10th birthday to Persephone Sarver. Says here, happy birthday, love Grandma and Grandpa.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise, what do they need to do?
Yes, go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos, messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. To also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Certainly important information as well. And for our producer in the back, usually I don't do this, but we don't have a break. I can't hear you right now. I'm taking care of a problem, but I'm going to watch this clock as close as I can. They usually, Abby's very good about saying, hey, dude, you're talking too much. But I can't hear her say that right now. So if I talk too much, she'll just have to bang on the window really hard. This live look, our camera downtown Pittsburgh, looking great. Got a few clouds out there, but otherwise a nice sunrise. We will head over to our camera at 7th and Range Line. Sky is also looking good. There's those clouds we saw from Pittsburgh. The colors out there, beautiful, but look at the trees. Wind's already increasing across the area, and they will continue to do so as we head into the late morning and afternoon hours. MoDOT camera 32nd and Range Line. This one looking back to the west. So, of course, a little dart look at all these folks already getting their day underway. Just one more day till the weekend. And the MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin also looking good. Got another partial shot of the sun coming up this morning. Again, beautiful start to the day, albeit a bit on the cold side for some of you. Here's what's going on, and here's why it's so much colder in our northern counties. If you've missed any of this, see these wind arrows? This is new. Here's the warm front. Now it's up here. And believe it or not, right now, it's about right on top of the Highway 54 corridor, and then later this evening, it will actually retreat a little further south. In fact, here it comes by 5, now back to the 54 corridor. Ahead of it, southwest winds gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. Clouds increasing. Now, the clouds are increasing as temperatures, especially south of the warm front, are reaching their warmest point. So that blanket kind of rolls in for us, and that will slow down the temperature drop for 2/3 of our viewing area. However, there's that warm front now by tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., just immediately south of the 54 corridor. So it's going to be chillier in our northern counties than everywhere else because that warm front just does not want to get further north for us. So most of us should be back in the low 40s to start our Friday, but the further north you get, we're looking at low 30s. Now, as we head into our Friday, that warm front does eventually make its way on out of here. So everybody will start to warm up. We'll have southerly winds on Friday, gusting again upwards of about 30 miles an hour. And we'll start to see opportunities for isolated showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two. Better chances will start coming late Friday into Saturday. Get a little more organized shower and thunderstorm activity out there. And I do again want to emphasize, excuse me, no severe weather is expected with any of this. And even though it's going to be chilly, it will still be warm enough that everything that comes down here will be rain. It will not be something else. It will be rain. Showers and storms continuing overnight, Friday into Saturday. By Saturday, 9 a.m., showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder starting to come to an end out there. We'll be left with mostly cloudy skies initially, and then skies will begin to clear for us as we head later into the day Saturday, ahead of some additional rain chances by Sunday evening. Right now, though, again, beautiful shot, Joplin, 40. Feels like 31. South breeze again, it's picking up now. It's 17. And here's where you can see there's that warm front, and you can see the difference it's making in temperatures. It's right here. So if you're north of it, you're in the mid-20s for the most part. But as you get further south, temperatures much warmer, about 10, 12 degrees warmer. So we got upper 30s getting close to 40. And you factor in that gusty wind. It is cold. Feels like 16, Iola, Fort Scott, 17, Stockton, 18 in Yates Center. So colder wind chills north of that warm front, and not as cold, but still cold down south of it. Get our morning underway. Sunny skies, 39 to start, 51 by 11 o'clock this morning. Well, I'm there. Look at your forecast. News you need to know in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how an all-female robotics team is inspiring a new generation of robotic builders.
Well, here's the check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pittsburgh police make another arrest in connection with a November murder case. 28-year-old Shannon Marie Roberts has been arrested for various charges, including felony interference with law enforcement, obstructing an apprehension, and concealing or tampering with evidence. And investigators say 2 people with gunshot wounds drove themselves to the Airport Drive neighborhood market early yesterday morning. One male victim was grazed by gunfire, and a female victim suffered a life-threatening gunshot wound. Authorities went to a home on the 1300 block of West Austin where 4 people were detained. And Schreiber Foods in Carthage, Missouri announces plans for a major expansion. Now, that expansion includes the construction of a new 168,000 square foot production facility featuring state-of-the-art technology, as well as creating 150 new jobs. The project is scheduled to begin next month, with completion scheduled for 2027. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as we head out the door, if you are along or north of this cold front, it's going to feel a lot colder, but we should eventually make the upper 50s for just about everybody, because that front will lift back to the north a little before it comes back down a little south tonight. And even our southern counties could make the low 60s in some cases. Southwest winds gusting to 30. Clouds increasing. Temperature drop will slow down to the low 40s, but again, that cold front comes just south of Highway 54 tonight. So up north of it, you may be in the low 30s tonight. Winds still gusty tomorrow, south at 30, and scattered showers through the day. Thunderstorm chances with some showers overnight into Saturday. No severe weather. And it will be into the 60s by Sunday. More showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms Sunday night into Monday.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Christmas cake pops in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. For the second month in a row, inflation numbers rose. Coming up on CBS Mornings, CBS News business analyst Jill Schleichinger explains what's driving the increase and how consumers are coping.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. Now, this morning, a Texas runner with ALS is taking part in this weekend's BMW Dallas Marathon.
Plus, Dustin Luno from the Joplin Fire Department joining us in the studio to talk about Christmas tree safety. Very important. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here tomorrow at 5.
And we'll see you today at noon.